This is Nightline and I'm Zahir, Kelvin Abdullah. The top stories: upgrading Chinese schools nationwide. Prime Minister announces 20 million ringgit additional allocation. And national master plan to be launched to secure sustainable future for pig farming. Hello there and welcome to Nightline. The Prime Minister has pledged that the government will address the issue of illegal houses of worship through a decisive and prudent approach. During his visit to a Pongal celebration in Tanjung Rambutan in Perak on Saturday, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim emphasized the necessity of upholding the rule of law while ensuring national stability remains intact. He said that matters of this nature must be handled with wisdom to avoid triggering unnecessary conflict or social tension. He assured the public that the government intends to resolve the matter thoroughly and decisively, mirroring its success in settling other inherited challenges. The Prime Minister said that while the government is committed to a final and thorough resolution, the primary goal remains the preservation of Malaysia's long-standing peace and social harmony. At another function in Ipoh, the Prime Minister unveiled an additional 20 million ringgit allocation for Chinese schools nationwide, aimed at upgrading infrastructure and improving essential facilities. Anwar, who is also the Finance Minister, said the funding underscores the government's continued commitment to strengthening the education sector and ensuring schools are well equipped to support quality learning under the government's vision.
Untuk dapat sedikit lagi tambahan bila ada keperluan, ya, sama ada kemudahan asas dan sebagainya, kita berikan tambahan selain daripada 80 juta ringgit yang telah diluluskan, sempena menghormati rakan-rakan dan sahabat handai kita masyarakat Cina, saya tambah 20 juta ringgit lagi.
Anwar made the announcement during his speech at the Tambun Madani Chinese New Year and Ramadan and Eid presentation ceremony at SMJ Yuk Choi. He noted that the allocation will go towards enhancing basic amenities and addressing pressing needs in Chinese schools nationwide. Meanwhile, Anwar described political stability and the integrity-driven governance of the government as the driving factors behind the success of the country's economic growth last year. He said that the achievement of 6.3% in the fourth quarter of last year exceeded expectations, thereby reflecting the effectiveness of Putrajaya's policies. Despite facing various challenges, Malaysia has been able to record its highest investment and an increase in people's income, while the unemployment and inflation rates remain low.
Kita kena faham bahawa negara ini kalau aman, ekonominya baik, hentikan amalan curi harta rakyat dan sakau atau rasuah ini, kita boleh bangkit. Malaysia ini punya potensi yang sangat baik. Di ASEAN ini lihat umpamanya prestasi ekonomi, Malaysia catat di antara terbaik. Ringgit kita prestasinya terbaik di seluruh Asia.
As a result, the government is able to redistribute national revenue directly to the people through various welfare initiatives. This includes the Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah (STR) and the Sumbangan Asas Rahmah (SARA) assistance programs, which involve an allocation of 15 billion ringgit per year. The government has also allocated 18 billion ringgit for the improvement of allowances and salaries for civil servants. Also in Ipoh, Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah joined thousands at the state-level Chinese New Year celebration held at Stadium Indra Mulia. The Prime Minister and Perak Menteri Besar, Datuk Seri Sa'arani Mohamad, were among those present. About 15,000 guests from all walks of life were treated to a variety of festive dishes. The celebration, organized by the Perak State Government, was further enlivened by a variety of cultural performances and singing. Sultan Nazrin also participated in the tossing of Yi Sang, a symbolic gesture signifying prosperity and good fortune. The ruler also presented ang pao to children from several welfare homes. To serve as a national guideline, the Agriculture and Food Security Ministry is drafting a master plan for the pig farming industry. Its Deputy Minister, Datuk Chan Fung Hin, said the plan will focus on sustainable development and managing animal waste to minimize environmental impact. Describing the main issue in pig farming as environmental management, he warned that mismanagement could trigger various issues. Chan said the industry needs to be managed responsibly and sustainably. It was previously reported that the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharifuddin Idris Shah, did not permit pig farming in the state due to environmental and public concerns. The ruler highlighted risks of foul odours and river contamination from farm waste. Following this, Selangor Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Amiruddin Syari announced the state will fully import pork to meet local demand. Bersatu's internal crisis deepened as several party leaders resigned following the sacking of 17 members of parliament and division chiefs on Friday, including Deputy President Datuk Sri Hamzah Zainuddin. At a gathering in Kuala Lumpur on Saturday, Hamzah declared himself an independent MP and labelled Bersatu President Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin as his #1 enemy. Speaking to over 500 supporters following his expulsion from Bersatu, Hamzah accused Muhyiddin of unleashing his attack dogs against him despite his sacrifices for both the party and the nation. The Larut MP also apologized to Bersatu members, saying he would not be returning to the party.
Saya dipecat, saya tinggalkan parti ini. Saya dijemput pecat dan saya tidak akan buat rayuan sama sekali.
Speaking to reporters later, Hamzah hinted at the possibility of forming a new political platform.
Rumah baru itu menuju pada rumah bangsa. It can be parti baru, it can be parti lama, tapi rumah yang baru.
Hamzah also claimed he has the backing of 19 out of 25 MPs from Bersatu, as well as others from Perikatan Nasional, and said his position as opposition leader should be determined by them. Early on Saturday, several Bersatu leaders announced their resignations, expressing disappointment over the party's decision to expel several of its members. Among those who resigned were Bersatu Supreme Council member Tan Sri Noor Omar, former Senate President Tan Sri Rais Yatim, and the party's associate wing chief Dr. Chong Fat Ful. Noor said the party had failed to adhere to its own constitutional processes. Despite the Supreme Council's decision on January 12 to suspend all disciplinary actions, he alleged that the party's disciplinary board had disregarded the directive and continued taking action against members. Aside from Hamzah, those dismissed from the party include Machang MP Wan Ahmad Faizal, Wan Ahmad Kamal, Padang Rengas MP Azahari Hassan, and Gerik MP Fatul Huzair Ayub. Their memberships were revoked for breaching Clause 914 of the Bersatu Constitution. Meanwhile, Muhyiddin in a statement defended the sacking of the Bersatu leaders by the party's disciplinary board. He said the move was the best course of action after certain individuals allegedly continued to sabotage the party. He added that several rounds of meetings had been held with those involved in an effort to reach an amicable resolution, but the attempts were unsuccessful. The statement came following a special meeting of Bersatu Supreme Council chaired by Muhyiddin at his residence in Bukit Damansara, Kuala Lumpur on Saturday. During the meeting, Bersatu decided that the party's two vice presidents, Datuk Muhammad Radzi Jidin and Datuk Sri Ahmad Faizal Azumu, will carry out the duties of deputy president. The special committee tasked with investigating shareholding allegations against Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azambaki has already commenced its probe. The matter was confirmed on Saturday by Attorney General Tan Sri Muhammad Dusuki Mokhtar, who serves as chairman of the committee. According to Dusuki, the committee is currently collecting information related to the case. On Friday, the cabinet agreed to establish the committee headed by Dusuki to investigate the allegations against Azam. In a statement, Chief Secretary Tan Sri Shamsul Azri Abu Bakar said the committee included Treasury Secretary General Dr. Johan Mahmud Marikan and Public Services Department Director General Tan Sri Wan Ahmad Dahlan Abdul Aziz. He also said the panel will conduct a detailed investigation and present recommendations to the Prime Minister and the relevant disciplinary authority for further consideration in accordance with established procedure. An international media outlet previously reported that Azam held shares in a financial services company. Azam maintained that his 800,000 ringgit shareholding was acquired transparently and in accordance with proper procedures. He also stated that the shares in question were disposed of within the same year. If you're thinking about tossing a cigarette butt on the ground, you might want to think again. More than 750 people across the country, including several foreigners, have just found out the hard way that littering now comes with a mop and a bucket. Under the Solid Waste Management Act, these offenders are being traded fines for community service, meaning they'll be cleaning drains, sweeping streets and even washing public toilets. According to Housing and Local Government Minister Nga Ko Ming, of 754 people nabbed, 478 individuals would be charged in court following the enforcement of community service orders which began on January 1st. He said community service begins for 15 of 478 littering offenders. The minister said the move ensures Malaysia stays clean, disease-free, and that everyone enjoys a better quality of life. SUV driver held over fiery crash. More home news after this breather.
Shop membawakan anda promosi istimewa di bulan Ramadan. Wow, sama-sama berkat. Raikan keberkatan sambil menikmati penjimatan hebat. Bermula 19 Januari ini, selamat menyambut bulan penuh rahmat. Jimat berbelanja penuh makna.
Ini daripada Buletin Pagi.
Seorang jurujuk,
seorang nelayan dari
menjadi penyampai berita memerlukan aura dan magis pada suara, keterampilan, keyakinan dan pesona. Kami mencari wajah baru Buletin TV3. Ayo, serlahkan potensi anda menjadi suara yang dipercayai negara.
Dah 3 tahun lebih dah kita kahwin. Saya nak ada anak.
Anugerah yang awalnya mengubah takdir.
siapa boleh jadi gila lah dengan keadaan kita yang susah macam ni.
Sarah, kita hidup macam ni bukan kita kebulu pun.
Berubah menjadi satu ujian keimanan.
Kau ni hidup menyusahkan orang betul lah. Aku nak kerja tau, nak bagi kau makan.
Tambah rindu pula.
Sebuah naskah penuh pengajaran. Taubatku, Ahad ini 9 malam di Cereka Ahad TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Oi, hang tak payah nak bergaya lah kat dapur ni, Aisyah, hoi.
Mami, ini anak Mama masak apa tu? Mami, relax. This is my show. Aisyah buat semua.
Lepas tu?
Guess like this lah.
Guess buat famous. So, aku kena lebih cakap. Bertepung lagi bulu mata aku, Aisyah. Oi.
An SUV driver involved in a crash that killed a couple at kilometre 134 Jalan Kuala Lumpur Kuantan in Mentakap on Saturday is suspected of driving under the influence of alcohol. Temolo Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Muhammad Nashim Bahrun said the 28-year-old driver has been remanded for 4 days until February 17. The couple, both in their 30s, were burned to death in their car after the collision occurred shortly after midnight. The suspect is being probed for causing death or injury while driving under the influence of alcohol. If convicted, he could face a jail term of 10 to 15 years and a fine ranging from 50,000 to 100,000 ringgit. In Johor, a 35-year-old Rohingya man suspected of killing his 7-month pregnant wife in their home in Kampung Makam, Kota Tinggi on Friday has been remanded for 6 days. The remand order until this Thursday was issued by Kota Tinggi Magistrate Nur Khalida Farhana Abu Bakar. The case, being probed for murder, carries the death penalty or imprisonment up to 40 years and whipping. The 34-year-old victim's body was discovered in the house by the couple's landlord. In the 3 a.m. incident, the victim is believed to have been bludgeoned to death with a mortar. The suspect, believed to be mentally ill, was detained about 4 hours after the incident. Police have confirmed that no criminal element was involved in the death of an 11-year-old boy who consumed methadone liquid in Kajang, Selangor last Wednesday. State Police Chief Dato' Shazali Kaha said investigations are ongoing with early findings pointing towards negligence.
Siasatan menunjukkan bahawa kehadiran ubat itu adalah dimiliki oleh bapa kepada budak-budak tersebut. So bapa tersebut mendapat kaedah rawatan dengan menggunakan ubat tersebut.
The victim's 2 younger siblings, aged 5 and 9, are still receiving hospital treatment and showing positive progress. Earlier, it was reported that the 11-year-old boy died while his 2 younger brothers were left in critical condition after being given methadone, a synthetic opioid used to treat addiction, by their mother. Their parents were arrested following the incident to assist with investigations and have since been released on police bail. An attempt to smuggle in 3 containers carrying over 79 tons of animal, agricultural and fish products was foiled by the Malaysian Border Control and Protection Agency MCBA at Port Klang, Selangor on Friday. The total value of the seized goods is estimated to exceed 1 million ringgit. Port Klang MCBA Commander Dato' Nik Izani Muhammad Faisal said the smuggled products were seized in 3 separate operations from 10 a.m. The first operation involved a container carrying approximately 27 tons of frozen pork imported from Belgium, worth more than 486,000 ringgit. Authorities also detected a container declared as agricultural products, specifically cat litter, imported from China, weighing 20 tons and valued at 46,000 ringgit. The third seizure involved a container carrying over 24 tons of Pangasius fillets from Vietnam, worth nearly 500,000 ringgit. The case is being investigated under the Malaysian Quarantine and Inspection Services Act. From coding and robotics to cybersecurity, more Malaysian women are stepping into roles traditionally dominated by men, reshaping the landscape of the technology sector. We take a closer look at the growing presence of women in this field, not only breaking barriers, but also driving change across the industry. In the early days of computing and technology, women were not the exception, they were the workforce. As far back as the 1800s, English mathematician Ada Lovelace wrote that what is widely regarded as the world's first computer program. And during the 20th century space race, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson were among the pioneering women mathematicians who worked as human computers at NASA, playing a crucial role in advancing space exploration. However, as computing became more prestigious and profitable, the industry began to shift. By the 1980s, technology was increasingly marketed towards men and boys, and women were gradually pushed to the margins. Today, that gap remains, but in Malaysia, efforts are intensifying to change the pipeline, beginning with education. Zahir Fatwa Intan Nadwa, founder and managing director of RoboShop Technologies, is among a growing number of Malaysian women helping to shape the future of technology. She has made it her mission to introduce children as young as 6 to coding, robotics and problem-solving skills through her startup journey.
As a woman in this robotic and technology fields, of course, the main challenging is perception and trust. Because most of women are being questioned about their technical capability.
Nadwa added that early exposure is crucial in encouraging more girls to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering and mathematics or STEM.
When we see a woman leading company in robotic engineering, it reshaped their mindset actually. So is this possible for me? So we can change to I belong to here.
For software engineer Aisha Norizan, that shift is already happening. At 29, she not only designs and maintains digital systems many people rely on every day, but also advocates for young girls to join STEM fields.
Software engineering is still a male-dominated field. Because they make up the majority, there's this unspoken assumption where they belong here more. So as a woman, when you speak your ideas wouldn't land as loudly.
Globally, women make up less than 1/3 of the science and technology workforce. Aisha noted that visibility and strong role models are key to closing the gap.
In tech, what matters is not your gender, it's what you can build, it's how you think and how you solve problems. Don't let anyone intimidate you or make you feel like you don't belong. Not men, not stereotypes, not the lack of representation and lack of visibility of women in the tech industry.
As more women enter STEM fields, their impact extends beyond driving innovation and advancing gender equality. They are also inspiring the next generation to follow in their footsteps. Indonesia's most active volcano erupts. The details when Nightline returns.
When I heard the voice of
Oi, hang tak nak bergaya lah kat dapur ni, Asyah, hoi.
Mami, ini anak Mama masak apa tu? Mami, relax. This is my show. Aisyah buat semua.
Lepas tu?
Guess like this lah.
Guess buat famous, so aku kena lebih cakap. Bertepung lagi bulu mata aku, Asyah. Oi.
Daripada Buletin Pagi,
seorang jurujuk,
seorang nelayan
menjadi penyampai berita memerlukan aura dan magis pada suara, keterampilan, keyakinan dan pesona. Kami mencari wajah baru Buletin TV3. Ayo, serlahkan potensi anda menjadi suara yang dipercayai negara.
Nightline continues with the foreign news. Indonesia's Mount Semeru in East Java erupted 5 times, triggering pyroclastic flows that traveled up to 3,000 meters. Located along the border of Lumajang and Malang regencies, the volcano remains on alert following a series of eruptions that began at 7:42 a.m. local time on Saturday. During the second eruption, a pyroclastic flow traveled up to 3,000 meters towards the southeast. The volcano erupted again at 2:22 p.m., producing another ash column that reached approximately 800 meters above the summit. Residents were asked to remain alert to the potential of pyroclastic flows, lava avalanches, and laha flows along river channels and valleys originating from the summit of Mount Semeru. The United States has deployed the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, to Middle Eastern waters. U.S. officials say the move is part of preparations for potential weeks-long operations against Iran, should U.S. President Donald Trump order military action. The deployment follows remarks by Trump that a change in Iran's government would be the best possible outcome. His call for the toppling of Tehran's leadership comes amid ongoing talks between the two countries over Iran's nuclear program. The USS Gerald R. Ford will join another carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, one of 12 U.S. ships already deployed in the Middle East. Switching over to sports football, 2 explosive quarter-final ties lit up the Malaysia Cup on Saturday as Kuching City FC stormed into the semi-finals with a 3-1 win over Brunei DPMM FC. Meanwhile, Selangor FC delivered a statement performance, thrashing Negeri Sembilan FC 5-1 at the MBPJ Stadium. Captain Faisal Halim struck in the second minute for the hosts to set the tone. Winger Alvin Fortes then grabbed Selangor's second in the 24th minute, and Noah Lane extended the lead to 3-0 in the 30th minute. Right-back Quentin Cheng was also amongst the goals as he headed one to make it 4 just before the break. After the break, Brazilian forward Trigo Moraes added the 5th with a towering header, while Jovan Motika netted a late consolation for Negeri Sembilan from the penalty spot. The emphatic win sets up a blockbuster semi-final clash between Selangor and Kuching City for a place in the final. On to badminton, the 2026 Para World Championships. Para star Chia Lek Hau has become Malaysia's most successful individual athlete after clinching his 9th world title in Bahrain on Saturday, surpassing the record held by squash legend Datuk Nicole David. The world number 1 faced little resistance as he cruised past Taiwan's Fang Zhenyu 21-6, 21-11 in the men's singles SU5 final at the ISA Sports City in Manama. The win also extended Lek Hau's perfect head-to-head record against the world number 3 to 19-0. The 37-year-old has won every world championship he has competed in except for the 2019 edition in Basel, Switzerland, where he finished with a bronze medal. Rugby now, the Southeast Asian Women's 15s Rugby Championship. Malaysia proved they were in a class of their own, delivering a commanding performance to trash the Philippines 78-0 in the final group match on Saturday. The dominant victory sealed Malaysia's place at the top underlining their superiority throughout the championship and marking a memorable triumph in the tournament's first edition. Coming off a hard-fought 15-all draw against Singapore, Malaysia faced a formidable challenge as they needed to amass more than 60 points to clinch the title. After Singapore cruised past the Philippines with a commanding 51-0 victory in their earlier encounter. Facing off at Padang Astaka in Petaling Jaya, the Bunga Raya squad came out firing, storming to 38 unanswered points in a dominant first-half display. After the break, Malaysia showed no signs of slowing down, piling on another 40 points to complete a ruthless performance. Noor Aliyah Nabila Samsu Bahari and Rosliana Muhammad Rizwan were the standout performers, combining for an impressive 40 points to power their side to victory. The emphatic result sees Malaysia finish top of the standings to be crowned champions, with Singapore securing second place and the Philippines taking third. A breakthrough after unearthing the remains of a mastodon and a giant sloth in Costa Rica. Officials believe the prehistoric animals may have roamed the earth as far back as 40,000 years ago, marking the most significant discovery of its kind in decades. With that, I'm Zahir with Kelvin and Abdullah. Thank you for tuning in to Nightline. Have a great weekend and thanks for watching.